Welcome everybody to the new show, man. This is your boy HL. For those of you who have heard of me before, it's from Talking Shit with Big Boogie, which is still a podcast. We're just on a little hiatus right now. So think of this as like a spinoff. You know, it's still them Talking Shit boys. You got your boy HL. Your boy Uncle Kev is in the building.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I said, basically it's just like doing my own thing. I still got love for Big Boogie. I still got love for Anonymous J and all that. Ain't no beef, nothing crazy like that. It's just I got a lot of shit to say. And so I'm going to say it. And so with that being said, ain't no beef with them. What I do have a beef with is we got to talk about this man, R. Kelly.
Yeah, man.
We got to talk about this man, R. Kelly, because I'm personally... I have a lot of shit to say about this subject.
Yeah.
I watched the documentary, The Surviving R. Kelly, and it blew my mind. Like, I'm sitting here watching this shit, and I'm listening to these women's stories, and you can see the pain and the hurt,
Right.
you know, in their eyes.
Right.
And, you know, what kills me about that is, like, to all these people that's saying, like, oh, these people may be faking or... you know, whatever. Like, if they faking, then you know what? Then they need to get jobs as actresses in Hollywood.
They need fucking
because
Golden Globe Award right now.
Because I mean, you can't fake that kind of pain and that kind of hurt. Like you can literally see it in these women's eyes.
Right.
And with that being said, you know, it's crazy to me that all these years this man has been getting praise, selling albums, living his best life, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. And yeah, here we are. These women are suffering. He's doing all these things to these women behind closed doors. Can you imagine? I'm just thinking about this. Like, can you imagine being in that situation where you literally are looking at the person that's destroying your life be successful and get off, even though they're being blatant as hell about it? Because that's what pissed me off. Right. And I gotta say this, I'm gonna be honest and upfront, because that's just how I do. I'm gonna apologize myself to anybody, to the women out there who have been through these kinds of things, and to these women that he has done these things to, because I didn't want to believe it. I'm one of those people that I did not want to believe it, even though it was blatant. It was so blatant. He was putting it out there in his music, in his persona, like all the things that he was doing with his music. Like I said, that age ain't nothing but a number.
Feeling
on your booty, which we'll get to that later, and I'll explain where that one came from.
Right.
And then just like the whole Pied Piper of R&B, you know, the way they broke that down and explained that.
Yeah.
You know, it just never really hit me, and I feel like an idiot. I feel like an asshole, honestly. Because I'm one of those people where I can separate the artist from the music. And I know some people can't do that. Yeah. And some people will come at me for saying that. Like, how can you separate the man from the music or the person from the music?
It's just like some people support Kobe over like sometimes. Like.
Well, here's my thing. And this is something that I explained to somebody. Like, I'm looking at it like this. I can separate the person from the music because at the end of the day, we don't know what these people are really doing behind closed doors.
Right.
And I guarantee you a lot of these artists, a lot of these actresses or actors or whatever it is that they put out as entertainment, I'm pretty sure that they're doing things in their personal life that we probably wouldn't agree with and we probably wouldn't like. So with that being said, if we're going to boycott every single thing that somebody does in their life that's wrong, or we're going to boycott their products because of decisions that they're making in their own personal lives, we probably would not be consuming a lot of anything.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, everybody's doing something wrong somewhere. We ain't perfect. No, I mean, we're all human. But here's the thing. Now, this is where I draw the line. You know, I had this conversation with a friend, and she had brought it up, and we were talking about this R. Kelly situation, and then she had brought up how, you know, people pick and choose, you know, who they want to listen to or who they want to come at.
Right.
And they're like, oh, so now they want to shut down R. Kelly, but they still want to bump, like, Chris Brown or something like that. And I said, okay, I see your point, but this is where I can only speak for myself on this one. Because, like I said, I am one of those people that likes to separate the person from the music. But I draw the line when you are talking about your wrongdoings in the music that I'm listening to.
Right.
Because when I'm listening to the music, I'm not necessarily listening to you per se. I'm listening to an embodiment of a product that you put together.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, generally speaking,
Right.
artists are not talking about the wrong shit that they're doing in their behind closed doors in their music.
Right.
And so, like, getting back to this, R. Kelly situation, I know now, after watching that documentary, that these songs were true stories. We sitting here assuming that he's talking about grown-ass women.
Right.
But he's not.
Singing about little girls.
Right. Even though he may not say ages, but I mean, think about this. How many R&B songs have you heard where somebody's gonna say your age in it?
Right.
I mean, that's just not a natural thing to do
like
because
age ain't nothing but a number. Come on now.
Right, but
That's
I'm just
pretty
saying, like, you
blatant.
typically don't hear about
Right.
ages in those kinds of songs because typically those songs, those artists are talking about grown women. And that's what we just all assume.
Right.
But, listening to R. Kelly stuff and now knowing the stories that are coming behind it, it's like, I know that you're not singing about a grown woman.
Right.
You're singing about these fantasies or these things that you have done even
Right.
with underage girls. And that doesn't sit well with me. So at this point, now you've blurred the line. You've crossed that line. So I cannot separate you from your music anymore because now your life, your personal life, and your music has become one. You are talking about what you were doing behind closed doors with underage little girls. So that's what I'm gonna think about and hear every single time I hear these songs now when I do hear them, but I'm not listening to them no more.
Right.
So point blank period, I'm done listening to R. Kelly's music. Like, no bullshit. I'm done. For real, like,
I'm
done
not listening to
with
that
it.
shit. I'm getting this music out of my head now. Like.
And what sucks is, and I'm not gonna sit here in front, like, and even a lot of the people in the documentary talked about this, like, it is difficult because we have grown to love these songs, and these songs bring back certain memories for us in certain instances. You know what I'm saying? Like, we hear a certain slow jam and we may think about, oh, I played this when I got with old girl. You know what I'm saying? Or they was talking about Step in the Name of Love. How many people have used that? Like, at,
Weddings.
barbecues and family events and stuff like that, or talking about I Believe I Can Fly. Like, people sing these songs at talent shows. People sing these songs at church.
Graduations.
Fucking church.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh, it's so hard. And honestly, even watching the documentary, when they would play clips of the songs, like, I'm not gonna lie. And like I said, I'm just being 100% honest with y'all. It was hard for me to not bob my head to the stuff. Now I caught myself, obviously.
Right.
But it's just that it's so hard. It sucks that this person who is obviously talented, I cannot take that part away from him.
Right.
He's obviously talented. We get that. We know that. But it sucks that he's a fucking monster.
Right.
And I'm going to just flat out say that. Like, I know that we all got, bad things in our lives. I know that we all sinners and all that good stuff. But you know what? When it comes to you fucking around with little kids and you doing that kind of shit, that to me is just not cool. And you know what? I feel like I need to speak out about it because for so many years I did not say nothing. So I feel like it's my personal responsibility to say something and finally speak out on this because I don't care how long it's been. I know it's been 20 plus years, but it's better late than never.
Right.
Because this man has been blatantly advertising this shit in the media, putting it out there, letting it be out there, and we let it slide.
He married a young girl too, didn't he?
He the girl that he married, I forgot her name specifically, but she was 19.
Right.
So she was of age, I guess.
But
still, this man is how old at this point?
Like 50?
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So it's like, what is you doing? Like, you still toting the line.
Right.
And you know what? I gotta say, his fucking older brother, what's that nigga's name? Bruce Kelly?
I think so.
I think it's Bruce. Yeah, Bruce Kelly. I have a problem with. He's an idiot. I'm gonna just straight out say
that's why he's in jail.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said that's why your dumb ass is in jail. Stay your stupid ass in jail.
Because he's like, I like older women. Yeah, I like older women too.
Right. Okay. So let me speak on that. Okay. So if you haven't watched the documentary, Bruce Kelly, who is R. Kelly's older brother, who's in jail, by the way. They didn't say what he was in jail for, or if they did, I don't remember and I don't care. His dumb ass needs to be in jail, along with his brother too, by the way.
Right.
But anyways, he said, well, I mean, it's just a preference.
It's just
Like,
a preference.
I like older women. Go figure that.
Yeah.
He's like, so I don't understand what the problem is with my brother. And I'm like, you don't understand what the problem is? What the fuck is you saying right now? Did you really just say
This
so?
dude, he's hanging out at high school,
Thank you.
his old high school, picking up these young girls. Like,
Right. And but here's my other thing though. Liking little kids, liking little girls and underage girls, that's not a fucking preference.
No.
I'm sorry. That's a fucking crime.
Right.
Dumbass. Like, liking older women, there's nothing wrong with that. These women are of age.
Right.
Like, okay, but you cannot sit here and try to compare
right,
and
you
say,
can't compare.
yeah,
It's
like to me there is no comparison.
It's not apples and oranges.
Right,
like,
you're not sitting here and saying like, oh well, I like older women and he likes underage girls, so what's the problem? No, bitch, that's not a preference.
Right.
That is a fucking sexual child molester, fucking
Right.
monster ass nigga. That's what
Right.
that is.
Exactly.
So why you sitting here trying to cape for this nigga, which I think I'm sorry, I can't stand your ass, Bruce Kelly. When you said that shit, you automatically just got wrote off. And he
Right.
was sitting here defending this nigga the whole
Right.
documentary. He was caping for this dude. I'm
Right.
sitting here thinking to myself, like, wow. Like, you really caping for this
You
dude.
can't.
I don't give
I
a
understand
damn.
that's your brother, but still, you gotta be smart. Dude.
Thank you, and that's what I was about to say. I don't give a shit if it's your brother. Like, brother or not, like, he's wrong.
Right.
Straight up wrong, and I'm not gonna condone it.
Right.
And
I'm not
the fact
condoning
that
it.
at one point he threw his other brother under the bus.
Right.
Okay, so with the peeing situation.
Yeah.
So we all know about the sex tape that came out. And the tape that came out, and you know, he peed on this little girl. She obviously looked underage. R. Kelly's in it. You can see this motherfucker.
Right.
And they actually asked his brother. Well, he told everybody it was his brother. His younger brother, the one that he accused of, he don't look nothing like R. Kelly.
Right.
First off, that's the first thing.
Right.
Secondly, he threw his own brother under the bus. Not only that, but then he tried to make him testify and say like everything was okay. Like basically put out a statement and
Right.
basically take the blame for it. And I'm
Right.
like, and I'm glad he didn't do it. His brother said no.
Right.
And he spoke out against it and he put it on blast and let it be known, like, look, I did not do this shit. That's not me in that video.
Right.
Because it started to ruin his damn life.
Right.
And his
Like-
daughter's life and his kids' life. Like his kids, he said his kids couldn't eat at tables at school
Right.
because people was like, oh, you messing around with it. I mean, it's just
Right.
nuts. Like the amount of the cockiness that this dude has.
Right.
Like R. Kelly. Like
It's like hiding in plain sight with this.
he is hiding in plain sight. I mean, there's so many things. Like, hold on. So there was another thing. So okay, so we all know about oh, sorry, hold on. So there's another reason why I can't stand Bruce Kelly ass. So the younger brother was, I guess his name is Kerry Kelly. So I guess let me see here. So Bruce Kelly's talking about Kerry Kelly and the whole situation, and I guess R. Kelly told him that if Kerry Kelly, the younger brother, basically says that it was him in the video, he said that he would give him $100,000, $100,000, and a 1 album record deal. And fucking Bruce Kelly gonna sit there and say, I never understood that. He could have been rich. I just won't understand why he didn't take the deal. He could have been rich. I'll never understand that in my life. And I'm like, you'll never understand that? So basically, you'll never understand why ruining a young girl's life to a grown-ass man who should fucking know better.
Right.
You think that that's okay?
These girls
because
are trying to make it themselves in the music game, and he was preying on that. It's like,
I just don't understand. My thing is like, you really gonna sit here and say that $100K is gonna be suffice? Like, that's what you like. That's money is worth more than morals and having an actual like fucking conscience.
right.
Like, these are children, bruh.
Right.
Like, that's not cool. Like, you don't do this shit to people, to anybody's child, to anybody in general, whether they underage or older.
Right.
But we talking about the young girls at this point. And you gonna sit there and say, I don't understand that he could have been rich? Oh, really? Because that's what everything is about. That's what life is about. And that's why your dumb ass is in jail right now. Not rich.
Stupid.
Mr. I don't understand that he could have been rich. Yo, dumbass. You sound like the nigga that'll take the money for any damn thing.
Right.
So that's why your stupid ass is in jail, and I hope you fucking stay there.
Right.
So that's the one thing. Then they tried to offer Sparkle some money. So if y'all don't remember Sparkle,
That was Sparkle's niece on the video.
Right, and I'm gonna get to that too. But like, okay, so if y'all don't know who Sparkle is, a lot of y'all may know, but she did that song, You Better Be Careful. That was like her big hit song. That was like her only hit song, really, because she found out how fucking, fucked up R. Kelly was, stopped messing around with him. But basically, even if you just look at the concept of that song, the video, listen to the lyrics, she said that R. Kelly came up with all that. Everything, from the lyrics to the video to the visuals. And if you think about it, you can see an abuser and that type of characteristics being played out in the song and in the music video.
Right.
Again, I feel like he was being himself by hiding in plain sight.
Right.
He was putting it in the guise of music, like, oh, this is just acting, because he always liked to tell them stories.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He did the whole thing with Mr. Big and all that. So it's like a storyline in his music. So he got it. Again, we let him skate because we didn't think much of it. We thinking that this is just R. Kelly being creative and doing his thing.
Right.
No, that's not the case.
Like, this guy is so controlling. He controls everything.
Right. So that's Sparkle in a nutshell. And she stopped fucking around with him after she found out the crazy shit that he was getting into. So, like...
But she blames herself for her niece, like, introducing...
Well, she introduced him to her whole family, really.
Right.
But he preyed on the niece.
Right.
Which, by the way, if y'all want to know, her niece was a little girl in that video that came out that got leaked. So anyway, she knew about that. And they tried to offer her 6 figures to do a press conference with R. Kelly, basically so that they can smile in front of the cameras and say, oh yeah, we're okay, everything is cool, like, and basically skate the fact that that's her niece in the fucking video.
Right.
Now, I want to say kudos to Sparkle, because Sparkle said fuck no and didn't take the deal, which I'm glad she did it. Now, here's what the sad part is. The niece and her family still to this day
turning their back on her.
No, still to this day deny that she was in the video. They deny that they was doing anything with R. Kelly at all. So this is why this is partly why he skated, because there's no victim.
Right.
And when you don't have a victim, what are you really coming for? You know what I'm saying? Like in a case, there's no victim.
Yeah.
And so that's how he got off, because he basically, whatever he did, and even Sparkle was like, I don't know.
It's just the fear tactics, man.
No, they think that paid off, and all that. Well, she said, and this was very interesting, she said that after that trial, her uncle or whatever ended up being like the guitar player on a few of his songs, like a few of his hit songs. He had been credited as a guitar player. So it sounds like it's one of those deals where he's like, look, y'all keep hush about this, and I'm gonna make sure y'all good. I'm gonna take care of y'all. I'm gonna put you on my albums, and I'm gonna let you make some money, blah blah blah. And of course, you got these Bruce Kelly ass niggas out here that'll take the money over morals.
Right.
And so that sounds like what they did. Now look, I don't know this family. I don't know all the details on that, so I can't speak on that. But I will say that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Based off of what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, it seems like that's what they did. He basically paid them off. Hush money, be cool with it. Let me do whatever I want to do, because I'm taking care of you and I'm giving you the greater things in life. And some people, that's everything to them. It's sad, but that's what it is. And so, they just, I just can't. I can't get down with that.
No.
And so then we moving on to, so there was this one girl who was 16 when she met him. So when he was going to the trial for the videotape, she was outside faithfully every day, like greeting him, saying, oh, like, keep your head up, blah, blah, blah. She supported the fuck out of him. She was an R. Kelly super fan. So she was 16 years old when she met him. Apparently,
all these girls were R. Kelly super fans, but...
Huh?
I said all these girls was R. Kelly super fans, but...
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what he targeted. But of course, and even one of the ladies said in the video or in the documentary, which I found interesting, she said that it's crazy because he was going to court for messing around with young girls. And while he was going into the court and all these fans are outside, she said they would literally see him eyeballing all the younger girls out in the crowd. Yeah. There was grown-ass women in that crowd, but he was oogling the younger girls. And it's like the blatancy, like the blatantness of this man. Like, you going to trial for child pornography and doing something with an underage girl, and yet here you are as you're walking into the courtroom, you sitting here checking out underage girls. Like, you have no fucking shame.
No.
At all.
Whatsoever.
And that's what kills me about this whole thing. And she was one of them. And
the fact that he couldn't help but record the shit that he does. Like.
Yeah. And so, basically that situation. So apparently, like a year after the trial was over, they got a hold of this girl, and he invited her over to his house, like for a party, a get together or something. He told her to bring her bathing suit. So she's like, okay. He also told her, don't tell nobody where you going. See, shadiness right there. See, that's right
red flags right there.
But see, that's how you know that he is well aware of what he's doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, the fact that you got to go through so many measures to do shit like that. But it gets better, though. Not really, but in a sense, like, as far as what we're talking about. So that's not the worst of it. Let's just put it like that.
Right.
So she gets there, and she's telling her story, and they're out by the pool, and he's having her model for him and all this stuff, and then he's telling her to slowly take off pieces of clothing until she basically ends up naked. And so at one point, he asked her how old she was. And not only did she tell him, she gave him her ID, and then she was like, I'm 16 years old. And so, you know what his response was? You just want to know what his response was?
Yeah.
Because this monster ass motherfucker, he gonna say, he kept telling her to keep telling everyone that she was 19, because that's what she was doing. She was telling everybody that she was 19 years old. So he said, keep telling everybody that you're 19, but act 21. Not only that, then she says that she's a virgin. She had never been with a man before. And he told her that was perfect. Because he told her that he can train her and he can take her virginity. What?
Yeah.
Like, I cannot.
There's like the stuff that he does with these girls, he was training them like.
Because that's what they do. It's a whole controlling thing. It's a controlling thing. You have to be able to control them. That's how. And being that they're young and naive, and you're a celebrity with money, with this fancy lifestyle, it makes it so he is put in a position where it makes it very easy for him to take advantage of someone who is young and naive. I mean, hell, we see it even with grown people and grown women, how easy they get sucked into the lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So imagine somebody who is not as mature, who hasn't lived some life. If you got older women and women of age that fall into the traps of the industry because of flashiness and the lifestyle, what the hell you think is gonna happen with these younger girls who are like, oh my God, I went to R. Kelly's house. You know what I'm saying? But they're not realizing
these people
what that
are trying to be artists themselves. It's like, but he's preying on that. It's like
and then there's that.
And then it don't even do what he said he was gonna do. It's like
So part of the control, which I thought was just fucking disgusting, he would have a no-eat list. He literally had a no-eat list, bruh. And basically what the no-eat list is where he would basically starve the girls for quote-unquote disobeying daddy. That's what he would do. And he would starve these girls. Literally, they would go like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days straight.
His wife had to ask him to go eat. Like
every girl, bruh, not just her.
No, yeah,
every single girl that he quote unquote owned or whatever got into his grasp. He controlled them like that. They had to ask to go to the bathroom. They have to ask. This is not.
That's so fucked up, man.
This is control. This is prison. He basically made a prison. And then what's even crazier, so this girl that I told you that he met at 16, so she ended up being one of his girls that was in the house. And I guess there was another girl that she knew that she got her into the situation. This is what is so crazy
like
to
the
me.
Crazy part is like he would have these girls recruit other girls, young girls. And bring them in the fold and
But here's what's even crazier.
And then he have his wife in the same house too.
And she didn't know shit. Now here's the other crazy part. They were in the same fucking house.
Right.
They would try to meet each other in the house. This is a house, bro. I'm not talking about a neighborhood. I'm not talking. This is how nuts of a situation. And this dude, the way he got everything set up is so intricate.
Yeah.
It's literally a monster's playground. And I hate to say it like that, but that's literally what it is, a monster's playground. They both were in the same damn house. They would try to
They couldn't even talk to each other.
Not only that, no, they were talking to each other via cell phone. So they were like, but they had to sneak it because he was in control of that too.
Right.
So they would try to plan to leave and go to the bathroom. Oh, you go asked to go to the bathroom, then I'm asked to go to the bathroom. The fact that they even talking like this, that just in itself, as they're telling the story, I'm like, what the fuck? But anyways, they were trying to plot that to meet at a certain bathroom so that they can see each other. She said it never panned out. Never panned out. Now, that girl, the one that was originally there first, she ended up getting out of the situation. She escaped, which I'm proud of her for that. And I just find it very crazy to me that they're in the same damn house, and he has so much control over that situation and everything else that's going on that they can't even see each other.
The fact is, like, when the same inside and outside is the same place. Like, you can't talk to nobody outside other than me. So.
Right. Now, here's the other thing. Okay, so you mentioned this earlier. He had an ex-manager that he confided in enough to tell him some of the stuff that was going on.
Right.
And he's telling this dude, like, I can't stop filming myself. I'm gonna give myself a try.
Right.
He knew that he was fucking up, and his conscience was weighing on him.
Right.
And you know what? That's the thing. When you doing some foul ass shit like that, it'll weigh on you after a while. And you gonna need to talk to somebody and let that shit out. And this guy was, I guess, the guy that he would go to. Now, here's the thing, and this is what I thought this was very interesting. So, this Surviving R. Kelly documentary it aired right around New Year's, like right after New Year's. So I'm a little bit behind as far as, like, you know, talking about this, but the fallout is still happening to this day. Almost every day now, ever since this has aired, there's been some kind of fallout with R. Kelly, and I'm damn glad. It's about fucking time. Like, now artists are finally starting to speak out.
Shit, Jay-Z walked away from years ago.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the people now. Okay, so Lady Gaga did a song with him, which I like that song.
You know, they did a song together, man.
Yeah, they did a song called Do What You Want, and it was a good song. But Lady Gaga just spoke out and said that when she did that song, she was in a dark place, and that she said she's taking that song off all media platforms. She's not performing that song. B2K, Omarion came out, said that he's not going to be, I guess they're doing a reunion tour, B2K, and R. Kelly did write some songs for them and produce some songs for them, which are hit songs that we all know. And Omarion said that, you know, he's going to do these songs because the fans want to hear these songs, but he was like, after this tour, like, we shoveling all this. We shelving it all because we're not doing this stuff no more. We don't want to be connected with him. Chance the Rapper spoke out. John Legend spoke out. You know, we saw him on the documentary. The studio where apparently that sex tape was filmed.
He got shut out, right?
Yeah, he got evicted, and apparently he owes money to them. So that's happening. And I just found this out. I just read this right before we started recording. Is that RCA, his record label, is not, they have said they're not putting out any R. Kelly music. They're not putting out any new R. Kelly music. They're basically putting them on ice.
Good.
And they said apparently he owes RCA 2 more albums, and he's been recording new music. And so I guess he's upset because now his money flow is getting ready to get fucked up and stop.
I don't give a fuck.
And it's like, so we supposed to feel bad for your punk ass?
Right.
You sitting here doing this shit to these underage women who have to deal with this shit for life. Like, even if they
these women are scarred for life.
Right. And even if they escape you, they still gonna have to deal with this shit.
Right.
Meanwhile, you've been living the high life.
Right.
You've been living the life that some of these women wanted. And you out here living like I said, living your best life, quote unquote. And the craziness is, like, he had a whole crew of people.
Right.
Yes men, as I would call them.
They knew all about this shit.
They knew everything.
Everything.
And not one of them motherfuckers had a conscience enough to speak the fuck up.
Right.
And
so fuck all those bitches.
And that's insane to me. That's insane to me. Now, here's what's crazier, and this is how I know that he did this shit. Because this is a typical textbook behavior of a molester or somebody like that who is abusive and wants control over other people. So ever since this came out, guess who R. Kelly is attacking? Guess who he want to come at? He trying to come at the women. He coming at the women, the victims. He want to come at them and want to quote unquote expose them.
The nerve of you, bitch.
Right. He want to quote unquote expose them on a website that he's gonna create and expose the women. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here watching the documentary though, and I'm like, wait a minute though. The women ain't the only ones that's talking. What about the manager? All the male counterparts that we knew about, the manager that I told you about, the man that helped him marry Aaliyah and forged documents for him. All these people that did shit that spoke out on that documentary, male-wise, he didn't say nothing about. So that's how I know that he did this shit, because he's gonna go after the women. Why would he go after the victims? Because he knows that he once had control over them, so he's trying to flex his muscles. It's textbook. It's fucking textbook. He ain't gonna come after the guys, the men that were around that seen the shit and just was, just seen it and know about it and may have helped him out. He should. But if you really mad, you should come at everybody. If you're gonna try to claim that you didn't do this shit and it's all bogus, then you should be coming at every single person that spoke out on that documentary. And you're not. You're picking and choosing who you want to come at, and that to me solidifies exactly who you
like
are.
The women's like, come on, man. You ain't going after no man.
Right. And I tell you what, one of the hardest things that was hard for me to hear is when they said, and they said this because we had never really heard it said. The whole Aaliyah situation.
Yes.
We knew about the marriage. We saw it. I don't know what the fuck we was thinking. I don't even know what I was thinking. Like, I don't know if it was just like a fluke thing or whatever. I was just like, wow, this may be true. This may be not. I'm not sure. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But all I know is now, knowing what I know.
He got the girl pregnant.
That too, which is also a bombshell, which I don't know how many people knew about that.
Right.
But the craziest part to me was when they said Robert was having sex with Aaliyah.
Right.
That was the hardest thing for me to hear.
On the tour bus.
But that was hard for me to hear because even though we know that he may have been messing around with her, that he married her, it was never explicitly said Robert was having sex with Aaliyah. Like, we haven't heard that phrase.
This stuff is true because the girls that was on the bus seen it and they went through it and they know it.
No, I know that, but that's what I'm saying. But it's just hard for me to listen to because I'm thinking about Aaliyah.
Right.
And the person that she was.
And the music that she's singing is stuff that she's singing about. Like, it's probably in her music too.
Yeah, but I mean, she's so sweet and innocent, and you could just tell her personality. Like, she did not deserve to be manipulated by somebody like this.
Right.
And ultimately, unfortunately, her life came to a tragic end. And honestly, I wish that she was alive today, because honestly, I would want to know if she would have spoken out and said something. Yeah. It's a very intriguing subject to think about that. Because you know what, honestly, after she moved on and started working with Timbaland and Missy, and she moved on with her career and got past the whole R. Kelly thing, she seemed okay. Like, she did not seem like an affected person. She didn't seem like she was a victim of anything. So it's hard to say if she was suffering in silence or was she just really okay and didn't see anything wrong with it, because sometimes younger women do like older men and they don't see a problem with that. If the man is cool with it, they won't see a problem with it. Now, I don't know, again, and I'm not justifying anything, but I'm just going off her demeanor and saying that because of the way she was, I'm just wondering if that was one of those situations. She could have been A, suffering in silence, or B, she could have just looked at it as in, oh yeah, you know, I dated an older man and, you know, it didn't work out and now I'm here kind of thing. I just really wonder. So a lot of questions with, you know, surrounding that whole thing. But ultimately, I feel like everybody who has a platform to speak out needs to speak out for these women. And if nothing else, because you know what, I feel like a lot of what people were saying in that documentary was true when it comes to when they said that if these girls would have been little white girls, that man would have been underneath the jail back in '95. Like, he would not be making music today. He would not be a free man. And you know what? And I hate that, y'all know me. If anybody who knows me long enough, or if y'all will get to know me, y'all will understand that, look, I'm not the type to pull a race card about everything. I'm a black man in America, but I'm not naive either. I know that being a black man in America comes with some stuff. So I know that some things that do happen is going to be because of color and race, because of institutionalized racism that's out there. However, I look at things with a certain eye, and I look at it to see, is this the case? And I feel like in this particular situation, I'm going to definitely say that this is the case.
Yes.
If those girls would have been white girls, if those girls' names would have been Elizabeth, Lucy, Brittany, Amanda, something like that, and they was white girls from the suburbs of Chicago, and they came up missing, there would have been a full-on manhunt for that motherfucker. I really believe that. And I really believe that the fact that he got off partly was, well, one, because he had money. One, because he has money and he knows people. But two, I think another part that played into that was the fact that these girls were just young black girls from the hood. They were from the south side of Chicago.
Nobody gave a shit about them.
Right, and they don't give a shit about that part of town. We know that. We from Chicago. I'm from Chicago, and I'm going to tell you what, I don't care what nobody else say. As a fellow Chicagoan, we ain't fucking with you, dog. We ain't fucking with you. Like I said, I'm done with you.
Fuck Robert. I'm not calling his ass R. Kelly ever again.
I mean, fuck that dude in general. Like I said, I can no longer listen to your music. I can't, and I can't justify it. And you know what? I apologize to people that I have defended him against back in the day. So like, for instance, and like I said, this ain't just about airing out R. Kelly. This is about airing out myself for allowing this shit to happen, knowing that we knew and didn't say anything. Like I said, I protected him in a sense. I used him as a joke, as a punchline. I've done that. But you know what? I was naive and I was stupid for it. And I'm gonna be a man about mine and say that. Like, but this is exactly why I'm speaking out now. And so, you know, I was talking to this one girl I know, and, you know, she had been through some stuff involving, you know, sexual assault and things like that. And she was saying how these women were so brave for coming out. And she was saying that she felt bad because she felt like she was doing the victims a disservice because the person that did this to her is still on the, you know, he's still out there. And she was saying that she feels bad, like she put other people in danger. And, you know, I told her, I said, no, you didn't do anything wrong. I said, if anything, I said, you were the victim. It's hard to come out and speak against something like that when somebody has done something to you on a physical and mental level. That it's very difficult to, it's not easy to just come out and say something. But you know who did do a disservice? People that knew about it that didn't say shit. That it wasn't directly done to them. So they had the opportunity to speak out. And that's what I'm saying. And that's why I said, if anything, I feel like the asshole. Because I should have said something to speak up for these women. I defended this man one time, and I'll never forget this. And I don't know who this person was. It was a female from back. It was a few years back when I had a Tumblr page. And I had said something about R. Kelly or his music, or I, you know, posted a link to his music, whatever it was. And she asked me, she didn't come at me crazy. I don't remember it verbatim what she said, but basically she said something along the lines of, how do you feel supporting somebody like R. Kelly knowing what he's done? And this is like, at this point, all we really knew about For Sure was about the tape. We knew about the Aaliyah thing and all this other stuff. And I kind of defended him in a sense, and I just told her the same thing I said earlier in this podcast, you know, about separating the man from the music. Again, when I said that, I was naive as fuck, and I was being young. No, it had nothing to do with being young. I just didn't know. Like, we knew, but we didn't know. And I think it was one of those things where you just don't want to believe it. You don't want to believe that he's this bad.
It's just like Bill Cosby, and it's like,
I can't make excuses for the man. But what I can say is that I now see the light, And again, I apologize to I apologize to, first of all the victims of Robert Kelly, whatever you want to call him, R. Kelly, and also to any other woman out there that has gone through similar shit. I am sorry that, especially black women, and I'm saying this to black women and even underage black women who are getting abused on a daily basis, because this does happen on a daily basis, and it needs to fucking stop. And people speaking out on it, people bringing awareness to it. I don't give a shit if R. Kelly has to be the fucking the guy that we need to make an example out of. It needs to happen.
Right.
Because you know what? He made an example out of all those girls.
Right.
And like I said, they still live with that shit. To sit there and see the hurt in their eyes.
Yeah.
I have not been taken aback by a lot of things.
Never felt so disgusted by just one person in my life. Like,
right. I mean, I was literally sitting there watching it with my mouth open. Like, I could not believe the shit that I was hearing.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but you can't make this shit up.
No.
You just can't.
No.
And the thing is given your track record, again, you're blatantly talking about this shit in your music. You're basically, you're blatantly putting yourself out there with the Pied Piper. When they broke that down and they was talking about, well, what is the Pied Piper? You know, what is that in the nursery rhymes, you know, and all this stuff, and saying what it means. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, oh my God. And I have talked about him being the Pied Piper of R&B, and I made it as a joke.
Right.
Like, I was like, oh, he's the Pied Piper. Like,
yeah, it's like we all joked about it.
Right. But I thought it was like, you know, kind of cool, but kind of funny. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm saying this again. I'm saying this because it needs to be said. Because by us admitting our faults and our mistakes and our wrongdoings, by not speaking up, I feel like it's better for everybody.
Yes.
Because you know what? We don't always see things at first, but people change and people do see things. And this is why I kind of get annoyed with the internet generation, where it's like a tweet from 7 years ago can haunt you because it's something that you said 7 years ago. It's like, why do I have to still believe in something I said 7 years ago?
Yeah.
How much change and how many things have you gone through in life? Hopefully you matured and you don't think that way anymore.
Right.
And I truly believe that people can change and have a difference in opinion and thoughts on stuff. And that's where I'm at with this.
Right.
I felt differently about this situation 5-10 years ago. But today, I feel completely different about it.
Right.
I don't fuck with you.
Yeah, I don't.
R. Kelly, Robert Kelly, monster, bitch ass nigga that needs to be locked up
and
under the
bitch
jail,
ass niggas
shot in the
behind
face. I don't fuck with you. Chicago, we don't fuck with you.
No.
And and then I saw a video on Instagram like a couple days ago. This nigga was performing at a Chicago club.
Yeah,
and
he told me that shit. Yeah, people was singing to his shit.
Bruh.
And dancing.
There was people. First of all, I was shocked that there was actually people still in the club.
Right.
I feel like as soon as that nigga would have showed up and started singing, I'd have left.
Right.
I'd have left, and I'm not. But there was people. Not only that, there was women in there singing along to this dude with their phones out, cameras out, all this other stuff, and he just sitting there singing away, singing his songs that we all know, that we all liked at one point. Some people still do it. Some people still like it. I don't give. But here's my thing, and see, that's the blatant shit that I'm talking about. Like, he just doesn't give a fuck. The only reason why he's even trying to defend himself now is because he knows this shit hit the fan now.
Right.
And there ain't no denying.
This shit is out, bitch. It's out.
There's no way to maneuver or manipulate this shit no more. Like, before, he could easily manipulate the situation. Oh, I could just drop a new hit and everybody will just forget about it.
Exactly.
But
That's
it ain't
what he
that
did.
way.
That's what he always did.
Right. But now he don't have that luxury.
Right.
So now his coins is getting fucked up.
Right.
As they should.
Fuck up all his businesses.
I'm just saying, they're coming out, and apparently there has been an investigation opened on him. So I will say this. I'm about to close this out, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to stay too long on this, because it's a horrible situation.
Right.
But just some of the stuff that I described, that's just some of the stuff. That's a small percentage.
Right.
If you're strong enough to handle that kind of thing, which I don't know how anybody could be, because even I'm desensitized.
I can't even finish that shit. Like,
yeah, I'm desensitized to a lot of stuff, but even watching that, it was hard.
Right.
It was hard. I got through it, but it was hard to do. And I will say this: if there is anybody that have been a victim of sexual assault or something like that, or have been sexually molested growing up or something like that, I would advise you not to watch this documentary if you haven't seen it already.
Right.
Because it will
bring back traumas.
It will take you back to a place. It will take you back to that place, and it's not a good place to be in. If you have worked your ass off to get through that period in your life, and you're at a point in your life where you're pretty solidified in yourself, and you've gotten over a lot of the stuff that the bad shit that happened to you, please don't watch this documentary. I do not want you to slip back into that mindset, because it will take you back to that place, and it's a dark hole that you don't want to be in. And I know this because I have a very close friend of mine who that's exactly what happened to her. She had been through a lot of stuff, and it had to do along these lines, and it took her to a place where she couldn't handle it. So that is why I advise you to, I know that you're going to hear about it. I know that people are going to talk about it, but it's another thing actually sitting down and watching it. And like I said, if you've been down that road before, I would advise you, my personal advice is to not watch it, just for your own safety, your own mental safety. But obviously, you're grown. If you feel like you can handle it, by all means do so. But do it for some good. If you're gonna watch it, speak out about it. We need to bury this motherfucker.
Right.
Because, like I said, if we need to make an example out of him, there was one thing that a friend of mine said is like, oh, well, this happens every day. We got to come after the famous guy. She wasn't caping for him. She was just making a point that how we only pay attention to these things when it's a high profile person involved. And I was like, yeah, I hear you, but yes, I know it happens every day, but we don't see it and hear it or know about it.
Right.
I'm pretty sure there's some bad shit going on in my neighborhood right now behind closed doors, but I don't know about it. So I can't say anything about it because I don't know about it.
I don't see it.
But here's the thing: if it takes a high-profile person like R. Kelly to bring awareness, that's the best part about it, because now that everybody's talking about it, now people are aware that, man, this shit happens. So now in their own neighborhoods, if they see some suspicious shit going on, they're going to actually pay attention, because they're going to be like, man, I've seen this before. Like, we saw what the R. Kelly situation looked like. We've seen these kinds of mannerisms, because this is not nothing new. R. Kelly is not doing anything new from the next child molester. He's doing everything that a normal, typical child molester would do. The only difference between him and most other child molesters is that he's famous and he has money. So he can do it in a more intricate manner, and he can cover his bases a lot better. But at the same time, he's still child molester textbook 101. So they're all going to do the same type of thing. So if we're bringing awareness using him, if we got to use him to bring awareness that, hey, there is little girls out there, little black girls out there that are being snatched up, abducted and taken advantage of, or just little kids in general where bad things are happening. If we put that out there, again, it puts it in the forefront of other people's minds. So when they see these same type of things, they can be like, yo, like it'll spark something in their mind to speak out and possibly help someone else. So yes, I know we're paying attention to it, and it happens every day, and he's famous, but it's also going to help others. So those people that aren't famous or high profile people, that child molester that's just your next door neighbor, or that's your...
So we chased off a child molester in our neighborhood. I said we chased off a child molester.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, but now people can take this information, they can take the stuff that they're seeing and knowing about, and they can take it to their own neighborhoods. So when they see that shit, they can stand up for those people. So that's where I feel like the good comes in, and I feel like it's only right that we speak out about this stuff. So, I mean, that's pretty much, I just had to get a lot of that shit off my chest. There's so much more that I could say. I don't want to go on forever about it. But basically, I wanted to start my new podcast off with, speaking out about this particular subject. And the reason why is because, I'm going to talk about a whole slew of things.
It's been due, man. It's like...
Right. And I'm going to talk about a whole slew of things, like, throughout this podcast. It's typically not going to be this serious of a situation
all the time.
But at the same time, people that know me know I have a mouth, and I got an opinion, and I know how to talk about things that I want to talk about. And I felt like it was appropriate to make my first episode be about this motherfucker and blast his ass, because you know what? If this helps anybody in any way, shape, or form, even if it just helps one person, I'm okay with that.
Right.
Like that's what I feel like is the outcome that I would like to see happen. This isn't about likes. This isn't about, you know, my profile. This isn't about, you know, no kind of status symbol or nothing. Right. This is about me being truthful and honest and just giving y'all a piece of my mind and giving y'all a piece of me and just being honest with y'all. And like I said, admitting my own faults along with calling his fucking nonsense out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we're all guilty.
Right.
Because we all knew.
Right.
We all knew.
Yeah.
So I don't care what people try to tell you. The fact that people are still caping for this man is ridiculous.
Right.
But hey, that's the way the world works. There's always going to be an opposing side, and there's always going to be two sides to everything.
Right.
There's always going to be the people who agree and the people that disagree. Some people still don't think that he did it, and some people will cape for him all day long.
It's like people think OJ didn't do it.
And I was just about to say that too. You have all the evidence.
But we
in the
know
world.
that nigga did it.
Yes, and OJ did that too. So I will say that too. But I mean, I want to open up a dialogue. So with that being said, I'm gonna post this. This is gonna be on YouTube. You know, I'm gonna make a post on my social media about it, and I want to have a conversation. Again, this isn't about likes. This isn't about. I want people to speak out. I want people to say what they need to say. You know, if you know, if
conversations, man.
Right, I want to have open conversations. That's the thing. That's another thing about these podcasts. I want y'all to talk to me. I want y'all to speak y'all's mind. I want to hear what y'all think about these things. And you know what? If you feel some type of way about things that I've said, or you know, ways that like I said, I used to cape for him at one point back in the day too. If you want to give me a piece of your mind about that, by all means, go ahead. Right. I'm not afraid of that. Right. If I was afraid of that, I wouldn't even have put it out there. So I can handle it. Just like I said, let's have an open dialogue. I will, like I said, this is all about helping people. This is all about getting the awareness out. And if we can help anybody in any way, shape, or form, that to me is the true reward of all this.
Exactly.
But that motherfucker needs to go down.
Yeah.
He can't keep winning.
No.
Because he's been winning for years, and these women have been shit on, and their lives are ruined.
No more winning for this monster, man.
Right. He needs to just go down. So, I mean, that's pretty much, you know, what I have to say on it. Like I said, I don't want to keep y'all listening to me, right? Because I could go on and on about this shit. This is just pieces of what I have to say. Right. But again, like I said, speak up. Hit me up on Instagram. Hit me up on YouTube. You know, comment on these things. Let me know. Again, this is your boy HL. This is my new show, Life as I See It. You know, I'm 1/4 of them Talking Chit Boys. We got Uncle Kevin in the building.
AKA Cosign Kev.
AKA Cosign Kev. He's another quarter of, basically we make half of, you know, them Talking Chit Boys. You will hear more from us. And who knows, you know, maybe our Talking Chit Boys will jump in from time to time and make a special guest appearance.
We'll be on the show too.
But yeah, like I said, I want you guys to, I hope you guys listen. I hope you guys get something out of it. And if you feel like somebody else needs to hear this for whatever reason, like I said, if it's going to help them or for whatever reason, by all means, share it.
Spread the word, spread it.
You know, spread the word. And just keep it positive. You know what I'm saying? Keep it positive. Keep it.
All about positivity over here, man.
Right. But again, say what you got to say. I want you to speak your mind. I want y'all to be 100% unadulterated with me.
Right.
Because
that's what we are, man. We 100%.
I can handle it. Just say what you got to say. But like I said, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, say what you got to say, and we'll talk.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we'll talk. That's what this is about. It's about opening up the forum, opening up the floor to discuss these things that have been so hush-hush for so many years.
Right.
Because it's kind of sad, and especially in the black community, you know, it is sad that these kinds of situations and topics aren't talked about much.
Right.
It's kind of swept under the rug. It's kind of taboo.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that the tides are changing.
Yeah.
And I never really agreed with that, and I'm glad that it's changing, and I'm glad that now I can make a way to speak out about it.
Right.
So, you know, I appreciate those who have listened. I hope you tune into the next episode. Like I said, hopefully, you know, we won't be so serious because I'm not that serious of a person. Right. But at the same time,
we like to have fun, so
yeah, y'all know me. I'm a goofy guy, but at the same time, when things need to be spoke out on, and I got to put my foot down, I got to put my damn foot down.
We got to come with the seriousness then.
And so that's essentially what this was. And so, like I said, I hope y'all check out the next one. And till then, man, I'll holler at y'all, and let's just hope that R. Kelly keeps having his bad days.
Yes.
I know that sounds terrible, but I mean, it don't really.
No, I don't give a shit. Fuck him.
I'm not sorry.
Fuck that nigga.
Yeah, just like what you said right there. I was about to apologize, but I had to think about that for a second. Nope.
No sympathy for that bitch.
Not today, Satan. So, we will holler at y'all. We'll see y'all next time. Love, peace, and hair grease.